The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the Los Angeles streets as Maya Cooper sat alone at the bus stop, one hand resting on her swollen belly, the other wiping away tears that wouldn't stop falling. 8 months pregnant and nowhere to go. The thought kept circling in her mind like a trapped bird. 3 days ago, she'd come home to find an eviction notice on her door. Her roommate had apparently stopped paying rent months ago, pocketing Maya's share instead. By the time Maya discovered the truth, it was too late. The landlord wanted them out immediately. "Just breathe," she whispered to herself, trying to calm down for the baby's sake. The sun was starting to set and the temperature was dropping. She'd spent the day going from shelter to shelter, but everywhere was full. No vacancies. No exceptions even for a pregnant woman. Maya checked her phone. 7% battery left. She'd already called everyone she knew, which wasn't many people in this city. She'd moved to Los Angeles only 7 months ago for a fresh start, away from a toxic relationship with the baby's father. The irony wasn't lost on her, seeking a better life only to end up homeless. People walked past the bus stop, most avoiding eye contact with the crying pregnant woman. A few gave sympathetic glances but hurried on. Maya understood. Everyone had their own problems. The streetlights flickered on as darkness settled over the city. Maya wondered if she could safely spend the night at the bus station downtown. It wouldn't be comfortable, but at least it would be indoors. She was gathering her courage to stand up when a sleek black car slowed near the bus stop. Maya instinctively tensed. In her current vulnerable state, any unexpected attention made her nervous. The car pulled over, and a man stepped out, tall and lean, wearing jeans, a dark jacket, and a baseball cap pulled low over his face. He hesitated for a moment before approaching. "Excuse me," he said, his voice gentle. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" Maya looked up, ready to politely decline when recognition dawned. Despite the cap and the growing darkness, there was something unmistakable about him. The kind eyes, the distinct voice. "You're Keanu Reeves," she blurted out, immediately feeling foolish. He smiled slightly, pushing his sunglasses up onto his cap. "Yeah, but more importantly, you seem like you could use some help. Is there someone I can call for you?" Maya laughed bitterly despite herself. "That's the problem. There isn't anyone." Fresh tears spilled down her cheeks as the full weight of her situation crashed over her again. "I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a mess. It's just been a really awful day." Keanu glanced around, then sat down on the bench beside her, keeping a respectful distance. "Do you mind telling me what happened? No pressure, but sometimes talking helps. Maybe it was the hormones, or the exhaustion, or simply the kindness of a stranger, even if that stranger happened to be famous." But Maya found herself telling him everything. About the eviction, the shelters turning her away, her dwindling phone battery, and the baby due in just a few weeks. "I have nowhere to stay," she concluded, voice barely above a whisper, "and I don't know what to do anymore." Keanu listened without interrupting, his expression thoughtful. When she finished, he looked at the darkening sky, then back at her. "My sister had a rough time once," he said quietly. "Not exactly like yours, but she faced her own challenges. Made me realize how systems can fail people when they need help most." He pulled out his phone. "Would you be okay with me making a call? I might be able to help if you're comfortable with that." Maya hesitated. Under normal circumstances, she'd never accept help from a stranger, celebrity or not. But these weren't normal circumstances. She nodded. Keanu stepped a few paces away to make his call, speaking in low tones that Maya couldn't quite hear. The surreal nature of the situation wasn't lost on her. Here she was, homeless and pregnant, watching Keanu Reeves make a phone call on her behalf. If she told anyone, they'd think she was making it up. After a few minutes, he returned, a small smile on his face. "I have a place where you can stay tonight if you want. It's a women's residence downtown. Safe, clean, and they have a room available. No strings attached." "Why would you help me?" Maya asked, unable to hide her suspicion. The world had taught her that kindness usually came with conditions. Keanu shrugged, his expression earnest. "Because I can." "Because you need it," he gestured to his car. "My driver can take you there. Or if that makes you uncomfortable, I can call you a taxi. Either way, you'll have somewhere safe to sleep tonight." Maya studied his face, looking for any sign of deception or ulterior motive, but all she saw was genuine concern. "Thank you," she finally said. I don't know how to repay you." "You don't need to," he replied simply. "Just pay it forward someday when you can." As they walked to his car, Maya felt a strange mixture of relief, gratitude, and lingering disbelief. The driver, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes named Rose, greeted them with a warm smile. "This is Maya," Keanu explained. "She'll be going to Horizon House. I've already called Lucia to expect her." Rose nodded understandingly. "We'll get you there safely, honey." Before Maya could climb into the car, Keanu handed her a small card with a phone number written on it. "If you need anything else, call this number. It's not mine directly, it's my assistant Tom. He knows to help if you call." Maya clutched the card, overwhelmed. "I don't understand why you're doing all this." Keanu's expression turned thoughtful. "You know, I've been fortunate in my life even with the hard times. But I've seen how quickly things can change for anyone. Sometimes people just need a bridge to get from a bad place to a better one." As Maya settled into the comfortable back seat, Keanu added, "Horizon House can help you beyond tonight. They have programs, connections. They're good people." "Thank you," Maya said again, finding the words inadequate for what she was feeling. "I honestly don't know what I would have done." "Get some rest," he replied. "Tomorrow will be better." As the car pulled away, Maya watched Keanu through the window, standing there until they turned the corner. She placed a protective hand over her belly, feeling the baby kick as if in response. "We're going to be okay," she whispered, both to her unborn child and to herself. For the first time that day, she actually believed it. The car moved smoothly through the evening traffic, city lights blurring past the window. Rose occasionally glanced at Maya in the rearview mirror with motherly concern, but didn't pry with questions. Maya leaned back against the leather seat, exhaustion finally catching up with her. The events of the day felt dreamlike, from the depths of despair at the bus stop to this unexpected rescue. As they approached downtown, Maya realized something that made her smile slightly, despite everything. In all those movies where Keanu played a hero, none of them captured what might be his most heroic quality, the simple, human act of stopping for someone in trouble when everyone else walked by. The car turned onto a quiet street lined with trees, slowing as it approached a well-maintained building with warm yellow light spilling from its windows. A small sign read Horizon House in elegant script. "Here we are," Rose said gently. "Let me help you with your bags." Maya looked up at the building, feeling the first tentative spark of hope. Whatever tomorrow brought, at least tonight she had shelter. Sometimes that was enough to build on, and it had all started because one person, someone who had no obligation to her whatsoever, had simply stopped and asked if she was okay. Morning. Light filtered through unfamiliar curtains as Maya slowly opened her eyes. For a brief, peaceful moment, she didn't remember where she was. Then it all came flooding back, the eviction, the bus stop, and the surreal encounter with Keanu Reeves. She was in a small but clean room at Horizon House. The single bed was more comfortable than she'd expected, and someone had left a fresh towel and toiletries on the dresser. Through the window, she could see a small garden with a bench. A gentle knock at the door broke through her thoughts. "Come in," Maya called, pulling the blanket up. A woman with silver-streaked black hair and warm brown eyes entered, carrying a tray with toast, fruit, and tea. "Good morning. I'm Lucia, the house director," she said with a smile. "Thought you might want breakfast in bed today. You had quite a night." "Thank you," Maya replied, suddenly aware of how hungry she was. "I still can't believe what happened. It feels like I dreamed the whole thing." Lucia set the tray down and sat at the edge of the bed. "Well, it definitely happened. Keanu has helped us before, though he always asks us not to make a big deal about it." Maya took a bite of toast, thinking, "So this isn't unusual for him?" "Not really," Lucia said. "He's been supporting various shelters and programs for years. Most people just don't know about it because he doesn't do it for attention." She paused. "He asked about you this morning. Wanted to make sure you'd settled in okay." Maya nearly choked on her tea. "He called? This morning?" Lucia nodded. "Said he'd stop by later today if you're comfortable with that. He mentioned something about a more permanent solution." After breakfast, Maya showered and changed into clean clothes provided by the house, simple leggings and an oversized sweater that accommodated her pregnant belly. She ventured out of her room and found her way to a sunny common area where a few other women were chatting or reading. One of them, a younger woman with bright copper hair, waved her over. "You must be Maya. I'm Danny. Heard you had quite the entrance last night." Maya sat down carefully, her back aching slightly. News travels fast around here, huh? It's not every day we get a new resident delivered personally by a movie star, Danny said with a grin. Don't worry, though. Everyone here respects privacy. We've all got our stories. Over the next hour, Maya learned that Horizon House wasn't just a shelter. It was a transitional living program specifically for women in crisis situations. Some residents were escaping domestic violence. Others, like Danny, had aged out of foster care with nowhere to go. A few, like Maya, were pregnant and homeless. You can stay up to 6 months, Danny explained. They help with job placement, education, childcare, and whatever you need to get back on your feet. Around noon, a ripple of excitement went through the house. Maya looked up to see Lucia escorting Keanu through the common area. Despite being in a simple black t-shirt and jeans, he still had that unmistakable presence. Several women whispered and stared, but everyone maintained a respectful distance. Maya, Lucia called. Do you feel up to a chat in my office? Heart pounding, Maya followed them down a hallway to a small but comfortable office space. Keanu waited for her to sit before taking a seat himself. How are you feeling today? He asked, genuine concern in his voice. Better, Maya admitted. Thank you again for, well, everything. I don't know where I would have been last night if you hadn't stopped. Keanu nodded, his expression thoughtful. I'm glad I could help. But I wanted to talk about what comes next. Lucia tells me you can stay here for a while, but with the baby coming? He trailed off, seemingly unsure how to continue. Lucia stepped in smoothly. What Keanu is trying to say is that he's offered a more substantial way to help your situation, but we wanted to talk to you first, understand more about what you need. Maya looked between them, confused. I don't understand. Maybe we should start with your story, Keanu suggested gently. Only if you're comfortable sharing, of course. Something about his calm, non-judgmental presence made it easy to talk. Maya found herself explaining everything. How she'd left her hometown and an unhealthy relationship with the baby's father. How she'd been working 2 jobs to save money. And how her roommate's deception had left her suddenly homeless just weeks before her due date. I had a plan, she said, frustration edging into her voice. I was doing everything right. Saving money, looking for a better apartment, taking prenatal vitamins, and then it all fell apart in one day. As she spoke, Keanu listened intently, occasionally asking questions but never interrupting. When she mentioned how all her belongings except her backpack were still in the locked apartment, he exchanged a look with Lucia. We might be able to help with that, he said. I know some people who could talk to your landlord. When Maya finished her story, there was a moment of silence. Then Keanu leaned forward, elbows on his knees. My sister was diagnosed with leukemia when she was young, he said quietly. She fought it for years. During that time, I saw how quickly life can change. How systems that should protect people often don't, and how important it is to have a safe place to heal. He paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. Several years ago, I invested in a building downtown. It's nothing fancy, just an apartment building. Part of it is used for a program that provides transitional housing for people who need it. There's a unit available now. It's yours if you want it, at least until you find your footing again. Maya stared at him, unable to process what she was hearing. An apartment, but why would you do that for a complete stranger? Keanu shrugged, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Because I can. Because it matters. And because sometimes people just need a chance. Lucia added, the program includes support services, healthcare coordination, job placement assistance, childcare resources. You wouldn't be on your own. Maya's eyes filled with tears. After days of doors closing in her face, the sudden opening of this one felt almost too good to be true. I don't know what to say, she whispered. You don't have to decide right now, Keanu assured her. Take your time, think about it. But why me? Maya pressed. There are so many people who need help. Keanu was quiet for a moment, looking out the window at the garden. When I was younger, someone helped me when I really needed it. Changed the course of my life. I promised myself I'd do the same when I could. He turned back to her. I'm not doing this for recognition or gratitude. If you want the apartment, it's yours. If you'd rather stay here or find another solution, that's fine too. The choice is yours. The sincerity in his voice was unmistakable. This wasn't charity born from pity or a celebrity's attempt at good publicity. This was one human seeing another in need and offering help simply because they could. Can I see it? Maya asked finally. Keanu's face brightened. Of course. Whenever you're ready. As they stood to leave, Maya felt the baby kick hard enough that she gasped and put a hand to her side. Everything okay? Keanu asked, concerned. Maya nodded, smiling despite her tears. Yes, I think they're saying thank you. For the first time since she'd met him, Keanu seemed genuinely flustered. He ducked his head, embarrassed by her gratitude. No need for that, he said softly. Let's just focus on getting you and the little one settled, okay? As they walked out together, Maya noticed how Keanu greeted each woman they passed with the same respect and attention, regardless of their circumstances. There was no hint of superiority or condescension, just a genuine human connection. In a world that had recently shown her its harshest face, this unexpected kindness was like finding water in a desert. And for the first time in weeks, Maya allowed herself to feel something that had been in dangerously short supply: hope. Later that afternoon, Maya found herself in the back seat of a modest black sedan, sitting next to Keanu Reeves. She kept stealing glances at him, still unable to fully process the reality of her situation. Just 48 hours ago, she'd been sobbing at a bus stop with nowhere to go. Now she was being driven to an apartment that might become her temporary home, all because a famous actor had decided to stop and help. You're quiet, Keanu observed, his voice gentle. Having second thoughts? Maya shook her head. Not second thoughts, just trying to understand why this is happening. People don't just do things like this. Some do, he replied simply. Not enough, maybe. But some. The car turned onto a tree-lined street in a neighborhood Maya didn't recognize. It wasn't upscale or fancy, but it looked safe and well-maintained. A normal, working-class area where families lived. We're almost there, the driver, a middle-aged man named Pete, announced. Keanu pointed out the window. That's the building. The brick one with the green awnings. It was a 6-story apartment building, older but clearly cared for. Window boxes with flowers brightened the exterior, and a small playground was visible in a fenced area to one side. As Pete parked, Maya noticed a sign beside the main entrance, Phoenix Heights Community. A woman was waiting for them outside, tall, with short gray hair and bright eyes that crinkled when she smiled. That's Ginny, Keanu explained as they got out of the car. She manages the building and the program. She's tough but fair, you'll like her. Ginny greeted them warmly, shaking Maya's hand with both of hers. Welcome to Phoenix Heights. Keanu's told me a bit about your situation. I'm sorry for what you've been through, but I'm glad you're here now. As they entered the building, Maya was struck by how normal it felt, clean and modest, with children's artwork displayed in the lobby and a bulletin board covered with community announcements. We're a mixed building, Ginny explained as she led them to the elevator. About half of our units are regular rentals. The other half are part of what we call the Bridge program, transitional housing for people going through tough times. Everyone here knows about the program, so there's no stigma. The elevator took them to the 4th floor. As they walked down the hallway, Maya noticed small personal touches outside each apartment. Welcome mats, small decorations, plants. Here we are, Ginny said, stopping at apartment 412. She unlocked the door and stepped back. Take your time looking around. Maya hesitated at the threshold, suddenly nervous. Keanu gave her an encouraging nod, and she stepped inside. The apartment was small but surprisingly bright, with sunlight streaming through windows that overlooked the street. There was a compact living room connected to a simple kitchen, a bathroom, and a single bedroom. The furniture was basic but clean: a couch, a coffee table, a dining table with 2 chairs, a bed with fresh linens. It comes furnished with the essentials, Ginny explained, following Maya's gaze. But you can rearrange things however you like. Make it your own. Maya walked slowly through the space, taking everything in. Someone had placed a small vase of fresh flowers on the kitchen counter. In the bedroom, she noticed a wooden crib, assembled and waiting with a new mattress still in its plastic wrapping. Her throat tightened. There's a crib, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Keanu shrugged, looking slightly embarrassed. I mentioned you were expecting. Ginny took care of the rest. We keep baby essentials on hand, Ginny explained. Cribs, changing tables, that sort of thing. You'd be surprised how many of our residents are expecting or have young children. Maya sat down on the edge of the bed, feeling suddenly overwhelmed. It wasn't a luxury apartment by any means, but it was clean, safe, and, most importantly on hers, at least for now. After weeks of uncertainty, the simple security of 4 walls and a roof felt like an unimaginable luxury. "How does the program work exactly?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Ginny sat down in a chair near the window while Keanu leaned against the doorframe, giving Maya space. "The bridge program provides housing for up to 6 months, Ginny explained. During that time, you work with a case manager to develop and implement a stability plan, finding employment, securing permanent housing, connecting with healthcare and childcare resources, whatever you need. There's no rent for the first 3 months. After that, we ask for a contribution based on your income, but it's minimal." "And what's the catch?" Maya asked, unable to stop herself. Instead of being offended, Ginny smiled. "Smart question. The catch is that participation is required. Weekly meetings with your case manager. Attendance at relevant workshops, actively working toward your goals. We're not here to monitor your every move, but we do expect commitment. This isn't charity, it's a partnership." "That sounds fair," Maya said, relaxing slightly. "There's one more thing," Keanu added. "Your old apartment. If you're comfortable with it, I'd like to send someone to talk to your landlord. Try to get your belongings back." Maya looked at him in surprise. "You'd do that too?" "It's just a phone call," he said with a small shrug. "I know some people who are good at negotiating. No guarantees, but worth a try." They spent the next half hour going through practical details. How to use the laundry room in the basement, the building's security system, community events, and where to find the nearest grocery store and bus stops. The case manager, "Tyler, will meet with you tomorrow," Ginny said as they wrapped up. "He'll help you access any benefits you qualify for and start working on your longer-term plan." As Ginny handed over the keys, Maya felt the weight of them in her palm, small, metal symbols of stability in a life that had recently felt completely untethered. "Thank you," she said, looking between Keanu and Ginny. "I don't know how I'll ever repay this." "You don't repay it to us," Ginny said firmly. "You repay it by building a good life for yourself and your baby. And maybe someday, when you're in a position to help someone else, you do that." Keanu nodded in agreement. "That's how it works. Not a debt, a connection." As they prepared to leave, giving Maya time to settle in, Keanu paused at the door. "There's a prepaid card in the kitchen drawer," he said quietly. "Just enough to get you groceries and supplies until your benefits come through. The program usually provides it. But—" he trailed off. Maya understood what he wasn't saying, that he had personally made sure she would be okay in the immediate future. "One last thing," he added, reaching into his pocket. He handed her a simple business card with just a phone number on it. "My assistant, Ben. If you need anything at all, call him. He knows to prioritize your calls." "I don't know what to say," Maya admitted. "You don't have to say anything," Keanu replied. "Just take care of yourself and the little one." After they left, Maya stood in the middle of the apartment, her apartment at least for now, and took a deep breath. For the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to fully feel the emotions she'd been suppressing: relief, gratitude, hope, and the lingering fear that it could all disappear as quickly as it had arrived. She walked to the window and looked out at the neighborhood below. People were walking dogs. Children were playing on the sidewalk. A man was unloading groceries from his car. Normal. Everyday scenes that had seemed impossibly out of reach just days ago. Placing a hand on her belly, Maya felt the baby kick in response. "We're going to be okay," she whispered. "I don't know exactly how yet, but we're going to be okay." As the afternoon sun cast warm light across the simple apartment, Maya began to take stock of her new reality. The path ahead wouldn't be easy. She still had to figure out employment, healthcare, and how to be a single mother. But for the first time in months, that path seemed possible to navigate, all because one person had stopped at a bus stop when everyone else had walked by. The next morning, Maya woke to sunlight streaming through curtains she hadn't closed properly the night before. For a moment she lay still, taking in the unfamiliar ceiling, the quiet hum of the refrigerator, the distant sounds of life from the street below. It wasn't just a dream. She really was in her own apartment. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand, a text from Ginny. "Tyler, your case manager. We'll be by at 10 a.m. Hope you slept well." Maya glanced at the time. 8:17 a.m. She had a little while to get ready, But first, she wanted to properly explore the apartment in daylight. Last night, after Keanu and Ginny left, she'd been too emotionally exhausted to do more than eat a simple dinner from the food they'd thoughtfully stocked in the refrigerator before falling into bed. As she padded around the apartment in her socks, Maya noticed small details she'd missed yesterday. A bookshelf in the living room held a few paperbacks and a small radio. The kitchen drawers contained not just the prepaid card Keanu had mentioned, but also basic cooking utensils, dishes, and even a small spice rack. In the bathroom, she found towels, soap, shampoo, and, thoughtfully, prenatal vitamins. It wasn't just shelter. It was a home, albeit a temporary one. After a shower and breakfast, Maya sat at the small dining table, making a list of priorities. She needed to figure out her medical situation first. At 8 months pregnant, she couldn't afford to miss any more checkups. Then there was the matter of work. She'd lost her job at the cafe after missing 3 shifts during the housing crisis. Her savings were almost gone. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Tyler turned out to be a friendly man in his 30s with kind eyes and a notebook full of resources. "My job," he explained after they'd settled at the dining table, "is to help you navigate all the systems and connect you with whatever you need. Think of me as your personal guide to getting back on your feet." Over the next hour, Tyler helped Maya create a practical plan. He explained what benefits she qualified for, helped her fill out applications for emergency assistance, and most importantly, addressed her medical concerns. "Actually," he said, looking at his notes, "there's already an appointment set up for you at Community Health Partners for tomorrow morning. It's a sliding scale clinic, but your first few visits are covered by the program." Maya frowned. "I didn't set that up." "No," Tyler confirmed with a small smile. "Apparently Mr. Reeves called them personally. They've been expecting you to reach out." Maya felt a wave of emotion wash over her. "He did that too." Tyler nodded. "From what I understand, he made sure your medical care was arranged before anything else. Said it was the most urgent need." After Tyler left, promising to return in a few days, Maya sat by the window, watching people on the street below. The depth of kindness she'd experienced was almost overwhelming. It wasn't just that Keanu had provided shelter. He'd thought about what she would need next. What would worry her the most? The following morning, Maya took the bus to Community Health Partners, a modern clinic in a converted warehouse space. She'd expected a long wait and harried staff. Instead, she was greeted warmly and shown into an exam room within minutes. Dr. Chen, a calm woman with graying hair and gentle hands, conducted a thorough exam. "Everything looks good," she assured Maya. "Baby's heartbeat is strong and your blood pressure is normal, which is excellent considering the stress you've been under." As the appointment wrapped up, Maya hesitated. "I'm a little confused about the payment situation. My case manager mentioned it was covered?" Dr. Chen nodded. "Yes, we have an arrangement with Phoenix Heights. Your prenatal care and delivery are covered through a community health fund." She paused, then added quietly, "Mr. Reeves is one of our major donors. Has been for years." On her way out, the receptionist handed Maya a small bag. "Prenatal supplements, some information packets, and a few other things you might need. Oh, and we've scheduled your next appointment for next week." Inside the bag, along with the items mentioned, Maya found a gift card for a baby supply store and a note that simply read, "For whatever you need. Community Health Partners." Back at the apartment, Maya found a message from Ginny. "Good news. We've arranged to pick up your belongings from your old place tomorrow at 2 p.m. The landlord has agreed to release everything." The next few weeks passed in a blur of activity. Maya's belongings were delivered as promised. Her clothes, a few cherished books, photos, and the baby items she'd carefully purchased over the months. She attended workshops at Phoenix Heights on budgeting, parenting, and job searching. She met with Tyler weekly, steadily checking items off her stability plan. What struck her most was how the help she received went beyond the basics. It wasn't just about keeping her off the streets, it was about rebuilding a life with dignity. One evening in her 6th week at Phoenix Heights, a knock came at her door. Maya opened it to find Ginny holding a small package. "This came for you," Ginny said, handing it over. The return address simply read KR. Inside, Maya found a cell phone with a note. "Thought you might need a reliable phone for job searching. It's prepaid for 6 months. There was also a business card for a woman named Alicia Lopez. hiring manager at Westside Publishing with another handwritten note. They're looking for a remote administrative assistant. Alicia is expecting your call. Maya hadn't told anyone that before moving to LA. She'd worked as an administrative assistant at a small publishing house back home. Somehow, Keanu had found out and made yet another connection for her. The next day, she called Alicia, who was warm and welcoming. Yes, we have a remote position available. Mr. Reeves mentioned you have experience in publishing. Could you come in for an interview next Tuesday? The interview went well. The position was part-time to start, with flexible hours that could accommodate a new mother's schedule, and the possibility of increasing to full-time after 3 months. When can you start? Alicia asked at the end of the interview. As soon as you need me, Maya replied, hardly believing her luck. How about next Monday? The work can be done remotely, but we'd like you to come in for training during the first week. That evening, Maya sat on her small balcony, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and orange. In just 6 weeks, her life had transformed from complete crisis to cautious optimism. She had shelter, health care, and now a job with potential for growth. What amazed her most was how Keanu had orchestrated it all without seeking any recognition. Not once had she seen a camera crew or reporter. He hadn't posted about it on social media, or given interviews about his good deed. He'd simply seen someone in need and helped, then quietly stepped back. She'd only seen him once since moving into Phoenix Heights, a brief visit where he'd stopped by with Ginny to check how she was settling in. He'd seemed genuinely pleased to hear about her medical appointments and the workshop she was attending. You're doing the hard part, he'd told her when she tried to thank him again. All I did was open a door. You're the one walking through it. As the baby kicked energetically, Maya placed a hand on her belly. We got lucky, little one, she whispered. But I promise I'll work hard to make sure that luck turns into something solid for us. The sunset deepened, and Maya thought about how sometimes the most profound acts of kindness weren't grand gestures captured for the world to see, but quiet moments of connection between two human beings, one reaching out to another in their moment of need. 3 months later, Maya sat in a rocking chair by the window of her apartment, gently cradling her newborn daughter, Lily. The early morning sunlight cast a golden glow across the room as the baby slept peacefully against her chest. Look at us now, Maya whispered, stroking Lily's tiny cheek. Who would have thought? The journey to this moment hadn't been easy. Lily had arrived 2 weeks early, sending Maya into a panic at first. But thanks to the prenatal care she'd received and the support system now in place, everything had gone smoothly. Dr. Chen had been there for the delivery, calm and reassuring throughout. The hospital bills had been covered by the program Keanu had connected her with. Ginny had visited her in the hospital, bringing a small handmade blanket that now lay across Lily's tiny form. Maya's phone buzzed softly on the side table. A text from Alicia at Westside Publishing. Hope you and baby are doing well. No rush, but when you're ready, we have some new projects that would be perfect for your skills. The part-time administrative assistant position had evolved over the past few months. Maya had proven herself to be organized and efficient, even while heavily pregnant, and Alicia had started assigning her more specialized tasks related to manuscript preparation. The work could be done entirely from home on her own schedule, making it ideal for a new mother. A knock at the door pulled Maya from her thoughts. She carefully laid Lily in her crib before answering. It was Tyler, her case manager, with a small gift bag and a wide smile. Just stopping by to see how our newest Phoenix Heights resident is doing. She's perfect, Maya said, inviting him in. And currently doing what newborns do best, sleeping. Tyler peeked at the sleeping baby, then handed Maya the gift bag. This is from everyone in the program office. Just a little something to celebrate. Inside, Maya found a beautiful journal with a note from the staff, for recording all the moments ahead. As they sat having tea, Tyler updated Maya on her status in the program. You've made incredible progress. Stable income, healthcare in place, and you've even started building savings. I'm really proud of you. I had a lot of help, Maya reminded him. Everyone needs help sometimes, Tyler agreed, but not everyone uses that help as effectively as you have. He hesitated, then added, There's something else I wanted to discuss with you. We're starting a peer mentorship program. Would you consider becoming a mentor once you've settled into your new routine with Lily? Maya was surprised. Me? I've only been in the program a few months. That's exactly why you'd be perfect, Tyler explained. You understand what it's like to be where our new residents are. Your experience is fresh, and you've navigated the system successfully. The idea of helping others who were in the position she had been in just months ago was appealing. What would it involve? Just a few hours a month. Meeting with new residents, sharing your experience, helping them understand how to make the most of the resources available. Maya looked over at her sleeping daughter. I'd like that. Once we've got a routine going, of course. Of course, Tyler agreed. No rush. Take all the time you need with that beautiful baby. After he left, Maya thought about how much her life had changed in less than a year. From sobbing at a bus stop with nowhere to go to sitting in her own apartment with her healthy baby daughter, a flexible job, and now, an opportunity to help others. And it had all started because one person, someone who had no obligation to her whatsoever, had simply stopped and asked if she was okay. 1 year later, Maya stood in the community room at Phoenix Heights arranging chairs in a circle. Lily, now a curious, energetic toddler, played in a portable playpen nearby under the watchful eye of one of the program volunteers. Is this enough chairs? Asked Danny, who had also become a peer mentor after successfully completing the program. I think so, Maya replied. Ginny said there would be 5 new residents today. It was Maya's 3rd time leading the newcomers' orientation session, a role she had grown increasingly comfortable with. Having walked in their shoes, she understood their mix of gratitude, uncertainty, and sometimes shame better than most of the professional staff ever could. As the new residents began to arrive, a young man who had lost his job and apartment after an injury, a woman and her teenage son who had fled domestic violence, an elderly woman facing eviction after her husband's death, and a pregnant woman not unlike Maya herself a year ago, Maya welcomed them with genuine warmth. I know what it's like to sit where you're sitting now, she began once everyone had settled. 15 months ago, I was homeless, 8 months pregnant, and had given up hope. I was literally sitting at a bus stop crying when someone stopped to help me. She told them her story, watching as surprise registered on their faces when she mentioned Keanu Reeves. Yes, that Keanu Reeves, she confirmed with a smile. But the point of my story isn't that a famous person helped me. The point is that help can come from unexpected places, and when it does, it's up to you what you do with it. She explained how the program worked, the expectations, the resources available, and most importantly, the philosophy behind it all. This isn't charity, she emphasized. It's community. Today, you're receiving help. Tomorrow, you might be the one giving it. That's how we break cycles of crisis, by lifting each other up. After the session, as Maya was packing up her materials, the pregnant woman approached her. Can I ask you something? She said hesitantly. Did you ever see him again? Keanu? Maya smiled. Once, about 6 months ago. He stopped by with Ginny to check on the program. He held Lily for a few minutes, asked how I was doing with my job. Normal things. No cameras, no publicity, just genuine interest. That's not what you expect from a celebrity. I've learned that people rarely fit the boxes we try to put them in, Maya replied. Famous or not, there are good people in this world who help simply because they can. 2 years later, Maya stood at a podium in a hotel conference room, facing an audience of social workers, nonprofit leaders, and community advocates. Behind her, a screen displayed the logo for a conference on innovative approaches to homelessness prevention. When we talk about solutions to housing insecurity, she said into the microphone, we often focus on policy and funding, which are undeniably important. But today I want to talk about something equally powerful, the ripple effect of individual action. Now a full-time program coordinator at Phoenix Heights, Maya had been invited to speak about their peer mentorship model, which had shown remarkable success rates and was being replicated in other cities. 4 years ago, I was homeless and pregnant, she began, sharing her story once more. She no longer mentioned Keanu by name in public settings, respecting his preference for privacy, instead referring to him simply as someone who stopped to help when no one else would. That single act of kindness didn't just provide me with temporary shelter, she continued. It created a ripple that extended far beyond me. In the past 3 years, I've personally mentored 27 individuals and families through our program. Those 27 have gone on to stabilize their own lives, and many are now helping others in turn. She clicked to the next slide, showing a simple graphic of expanding circles. This is what we call the ripple effect model. When you help one person build stability, you're not just changing one life, you're potentially changing dozens, even hundreds of lives down the line. After her presentation, a woman approached Maya at the refreshment table. "Your story is remarkable," she said, "and your daughter is adorable." She nodded toward Lily, now a lively preschooler who was coloring quietly at a nearby table under the watchful eye of Maya's colleague. "Thank you," Maya replied. "She's my daily reminder that life can change in unexpected ways." "I have to ask," the woman said, lowering her voice. "The person who helped you, was it really Keanu Reeves?" "There are rumors," Maya smiled. "What matters isn't who it was, but what they did, and what happened afterward. The true power of kindness isn't in who gives it, but in how it spreads." Later that evening, as Maya tucked Lily into bed in their new 2-bedroom apartment, a place they had moved to 6 months earlier, when Maya had saved enough for a security deposit, her daughter asked for her favorite bedtime story. "Tell me again about the bus stop, Mommy," Lily requested, clutching her well-loved stuffed rabbit. Maya smiled, sitting on the edge of the bed. This story, simplified for a child's understanding, had become part of their family mythology. "Once upon a time," she began, "Mommy was sitting at a bus stop feeling very sad and very scared because she didn't have a home, and you were still growing in my tummy. And then the kind man stopped," Lily continued eagerly, knowing the story by heart. "Yes, a kind man stopped when everyone else walked by, and he helped us find a home, and doctors to make sure you were growing healthy, and later a job so I could take care of us. Because that's what people should do," Lily recited solemnly. "Help each other." "Exactly," Maya said, kissing her daughter's forehead. "And that's why we help others now, too. Because kindness isn't meant to stop with us. It's meant to keep going like ripples in a pond." As Lily drifted off to sleep, Maya stood by the window, looking out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, a man who had changed her life was going about his business, probably unaware of just how far the ripples of his kindness had spread. But Maya knew, and she had made it her life's work to ensure those ripples continued, touching life after life in an endless chain of connection, all because one person had stopped at a bus stop when everyone else had walked by.